NATO and News 11 exclusive. A deadly virus has uprooted the lives of every single person in the world, something that hasn't happened in more than a century. It has sickened more than 4 million people and killed nearly 300,000 people worldwide. So now we explore where, seemingly all of a sudden, the coronavirus came from. We understand there are conflicting theories, and experts say the origin may never truly be known. Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the coronavirus. At first, some 7,000 miles away from the desert southwest, but now closer than ever with the deadly virus not just on the other side of the world, but right here at home. The theories as to how it got here have spread faster than the virus itself. Some believe it was a bioweapon manufactured by the Chinese. Some blame 5G towers. It leaked like a genie out of a bottle from a lab in an accident, or that it was born in a wet market in Wuhan. Scientists have banded together across international borders to condemn the conspiracy theories, but are still divided. Yet the most popular theory to date is that the coronavirus came from bats. According to PREDICT, a federally funded global program that investigates viruses in animals with the goal of predicting and preventing pandemics like this one, they estimate that bats harbor up to 15,000 coronaviruses, and still only a few hundred are currently known. But how exactly it may have got from bat to human is unknown. The coronavirus usually requires an intermediate animal host. Some believe it found its way into an endangered mammal called the pangolin before migrating into humans.
Scientists hope that clues in its genes could lead to better treatments in the future.
Here's another possibility. A bat infected a farm animal that was brought to a wet market. The sick farm animal then infected a human. It's a phenomenon known as zoonosis, a disease that can be transmitted from one species to another. Among the first 41 reported coronavirus patients, 27 were exposed to the same wet market.
Either as the source of the outbreak or an amplifying setting.
Wet markets are where wild animals are kept in cages, sold and slaughtered for food and medicine. They are referred to as wet because the floors are often hosed down after vendors wash vegetables or clean fish. There is a widespread network of wet markets around the world where thousands of locals shop every day for their meat and vegetables. Experts say, though, the close quarters and potentially unsanitary practices are the perfect place for viruses to spread. And in China, you can even eat bats. So in response to the pandemic, the Chinese government temporarily banned the trade of wild animals for food in late February and is currently drafting a permanent law to further tighten controls. And while this was new to me, there are indeed virus hunters, scientists who enter bat caves in full hazmat suits to catch and test these animals, searching for new pathogens to prevent the next pandemic. And there is even more work being done to prevent a future outbreak. For example, in some parts of Kenya, scientists have been teaching people to plug holes in their roofs to prevent bats from entering, or teaching them to boil camel's milk before drinking it to kill off the pathogens, and educating locals about the need to avoid fruits a bat may have bitten into. Bats and other wildlife are also sometimes fitted with trackers to understand patterns of transmission by analyzing their movements and how often they come into contact with livestock and humans. 43% of Americans agree the virus likely came about naturally. Still, though, despite evidence from infectious disease experts, nearly 30% of Americans in a new Pew poll say they believe that the coronavirus was likely created in a lab. The president may agree. And as virus hunters race against the clock, the war of words is intensifying between the United States and China over the origin. The United States government is looking into the possibility that the coronavirus was accidentally released to the public from a laboratory in Wuhan, China. The lab theory has been denied by the Chinese government and even accuses the Trump administration of deflecting blame for its own failure to contain the virus within the U.S.
National leaders of the United States, start this campaign of disinformation.
The World Health Organization has repeatedly stated that there hasn't been any evidence pointing to the virus being man-made.
We have not received any data or specific evidence from the U.S. government relating to the purported origin of the virus. So From our perspective, this remains speculative.
China, though, has not allowed the WHO or any other external experts to join its investigation into the origins of the pandemic. As for PREDICT, this federally funded global program that looks to predict and prevent future pandemics, the future of it was actually looking uncertain as its funding was set to expire at the end of March 2020. But because of the coronavirus, it has received a 6-month extension. Unfortunately, though, the work of these virus hunters is somewhat on hold for now, as they are grounded by the same travel restrictions that have crippled the world. Just know, though, public health officials are working frantically to learn more and ultimately save lives. With this special report, I'm News 11's Jenny Day.